Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here. I got some interesting things to share with you today. What we're doing, is using astrology, a very ancient science, to try to peer through the veil that we all live in due to our many years of schooling and conditioning to see the world in a certain way. The ancients decided very wisely that as above, so below, and so below as above. Yes, and they could anticipate and predict what was going on the earth by knowing more about what was going on in the sky. And that's what I've been trying to do and show you for the last, 20 years I've been doing this show? Anyway, it's a very strange thing that astrology is giving us, and it's sometimes hard to accept, but when you try a little bit, it works out. Yep, Benjamin Franklin was quite a good astrologer. He and I share a birth date, middle of January, along with Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali. A lot of guys, all my heroes. But Ben in particular, Ben Franklin said, men must be taught as if they're not, and new things proposed as things forgot. Yeah, here's an almanac. These went on for 20 years, Ben published this, the real one, huh? And what it's all about is where the planets are and what the aspects are. And, you can't get away from it when you look at the almanac. Look, here's Mars and Venus, and they're in sextile. Ha 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 ha. And Ben's telling you that that's happening on the 5th. So, what I've read in the books is that this almanac, the one book that was on everybody's mantle back in these days, 1733, was the Bible, of course. And this, an almanac, Ben Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac, was right there on, people kept records in here. All sorts of interesting information came up. He talked about the lunations, just as I do. Eclipses, oh boy, judgment of the weather, yes. So, here we go, using the same kind of tools that Ben used. Let's see what we come up with. This is program 1056. 1056 weeks I've served you, and I intend to keep going till I drop. We're going to cover the last week in February and the first 5 days in March in the year 2017. And see what's going on day by day in a sky mirror. It is a sky mirror, just a mirror. Don't get all causative about it. I made some interesting notes here. First of all, there's a new moon coming up Sunday, the 26th for you, just 3 days from where you're at, if you're watching the Thursday show. That new moon is at 8 degrees of Pisces, and it's very close to Neptune, which is at 12 Pisces. So we've had a series of new moons, giving Neptune power, taking away, giving it power, taking it away. And some of the issues you see are like the Dakota pipeline. Yes, that's an oil issue, that's Neptune. The drugs, the Roundup, yeah. I got more to say about that, but we want to get into the details first. But I think what you're going to find is the sun is going to go by Neptune Wednesday night. So if you want to get in, not if you want to, you will be in a Neptune mode Wednesday night as the sun goes by Neptune. And you'll feel like a priest, a doctor, an artist, a musician, like Jesus. Now remember, I love Jesus. When you read Jesus, when he says heaven, insert sky. That was the original Aramaic. Another thing that's going on here is that Venus is slowing down and stopping in the sky on March 3rd. It happens at 11:10 p.m. And that's a time to get to know Venus. And it'll get sweet and it'll get sexy. Yes. Here's another note. Got a lot of stuff going on, huh? Mars is going to conjunct Uranus. Now, Uranus has been beat up a lot by Jupiter, and us astrologers, and the homeless, and the scientific people, and the Aquarian spirit have been taking a lot of heat. But they're heating up here. Here comes Mars. He's gonna hit Uranus, and Uranus is gonna stand up, and they're gonna be pissed off. Yes. Now the Mars hits Uranus on the 27th of February, just a few days from where you're at now. The moon goes by there, conjuncting Uranus and Mars on Wednesday morning, March 1st. Easy to remember, huh? And that should be kind of a peak of angry protests, yes. Homeless people standing up when electric fires, indeed. And Uranus being airplanes and modes of transportation with motors in them, you're going to see some more airplane fires. Yep. So I drew up a chart for you. This is not my normal Earth. You can see he's hot. The Earth is warming up. Never have so few done so little to kill so many. Global warming. To me, that's the horror of the Trump presidency. So far, he's done a lot of idiotic things. Did you ever see the movie Idiocracy? If you haven't, YouTube it and watch Idiocracy. Anyway, we got a warming Earth. And even in the wintertime, it's warming. So here's a chart. Interesting thing. Well, Jupiter over here beating up on Uranus. But here comes Mars. Yeah. There's Venus. See, she didn't quite get to Mars. She was chasing, there's Juliet chasing Romeo, but she's stopping at 12-13 degrees. And Romeo goes on 20-27 Aries. Mars separates from Venus, so it'll be less randy and physical and more loving. Anyway, something to look forward to when the moon goes by there on Tuesday. We've still got the same pattern. We've got Saturn and Jupiter in sextile. Here's a judge. Here's Jupiter, the lawyers. Now, Mr. Trump is a Leo rising at 29 degrees. And, you know, Saturn is trining him. Yeah, here's 27 Sag. He's at 29 Leo. That's both fire signs, huh? So, and here's Mars at 27 Aries. That's going to trine Mr. Trump's rising sign. So he's going to be feeling his oats for a little bit. And we'll see what happens on the scene. Pluto is the loser here. Poor Pluto squaring Jupiter, squaring Mars, Uranus. He doesn't get a break. No. Let's look at it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern. And as it makes angles to different things, to these different people. These are the actors on the stage, by the way. You know, if you did any ancient studies in school, they call them, oh, these are the gods. No, they didn't even know they were the gods the ancients talked about. Anyway, Thursday night show, moon's in Aquarius. You should be feeling okay. On Friday, the moon still stays in Aquarius. And look at this pile up. All these trines and sextiles, things just happen easily. They just slipped right through, turned around. The judge, the lawyers all agreed. Maybe they'll help the homeless. About time. They took some responsibility. After all, it's these Jupiter people, the lawyers that you put into government, and the administrators that have done the harm here. Yes, they set up these poor people. Anyway, another story. Don't get me started. You're dealing with Friday night and Saturday morning, oh boy, they're nice. You know, starts off here with Jupiter late Friday night. That's about 10 o'clock. And everybody starts to party a little bit and feel pretty good. Then there's a sextile to Uranus. We're free, we're independent, we're the greatest, we are a democracy. Oh, wait a minute, Electoral College. Is that a democracy? I'm not sure. You shouldn't be either. Finally, here's a nice sextile to Saturn. The judge seems like he gets the final word here. That's happening in a lot of places. I hope a wise judge shuts down that pipeline. It's not doing oil, you know. It's doing a terrible mix of old, really cruddy hydrocarbons from shale. And the last chance these oil companies had to make a big score. The worst thing you want to do to global warming. It costs more to burn this stuff. It costs more to get it out and process it and get rid of the ash than it does to burn it. That's the baloney, the big lie, the elephant in the room. But you're going to be feeling pretty good Friday night. Goes well into Saturday morning. Everybody's pretty happy here. Probably until, well, here's Neptune. That's up ahead here at 12, huh? Here's the South Node. Saturday afternoon, the moon goes by the South Node. We feel like we need help. There's probably another blizzard condition. The moon shifted into Pisces right here. And the water sign always produces, you know, slippery conditions, huh? As you move from Saturday's slippery conditions, and we all need help, Saturday night anyway. Saturday morning is all still partying out, huh? As you go through Saturday and into the evening, you're coming into that new moon zone. That happens here early Sunday morning. And it's very close to Neptune, so this is a new beginning in Pisces. This is a good time to dream, but don't let it get a hold of you. It's kind of like alcohol, you know, or drugs or things. A little bit can be very efficacious, but a little too much and you're in dreamland and you've made some mistakes. So anything you believe in here should be questioned. Question authority, question it all. It's a dreamy time. This new moon, you probably see colors a little better. Your sense of smell goes up. You can talk to spirit more securely. So this is going to be interesting to watch and see what happens. So it'll flavor Sunday. It could be you feel a little drunk, or you feel a little high, or maybe you just got inspired somehow over something. But Sunday's the day to do it. There's Discovery Sunday night. As you go into late Sunday, here's a nice sextile to Pluto. Oh, something new came up. Yeah. Monday morning, you're still feeling all the glow of the Pisces and all the things that went on there. Colors, oh yeah. Football, I don't know. But on Monday, things change. It's the afternoon and the moon shifts into Aries. And when that happens right here, well, before you get there, the moon's going to hit the square to Saturn at 27 degrees. That's in the middle of Monday. It's going to get cold, it's going to get icy, you're going to have trouble getting around. Probably you'll feel this Monday morning. You may have maybe slow getting to work and to school and things. So Monday's a day of delays, okay? And people start to get a little more energetic when the moon goes into Aries here after dinner. But as you continue through with the moon in Aries, you get to Tuesday the 28th here, and it starts to get complicated again. First, here's a conjunction to Venus. Sweet, sexy, loving, relax. It's nice, enjoy. There's not a lot of moments of peace and enjoyment in our world right now. And you should enjoy this one Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, because Wednesday morning it starts right away with a square to Pluto, and there's emergencies. What kind of emergencies? Well, we're on that T-square again. Call them Wicked Wednesdays. Remember, it was Freaky Fridays, then it was Terrible Thursdays. Now the whole T-square has moved back into Wednesday. And now Mars is there. Oh boy. You know, this thing is heating up. And you're going to feel it on Wednesday. There'll be fights, there'll be fires, there'll be energies that, you know, are against the rules, because Mars is at 27 degrees when it squares Saturn at 27 degrees. So they're not interested in the barriers, the rules, the order of law. That's, you know, all you politicians always talking about law and order. We're a country of laws. That's because they made the laws. Ben would say we're a country of common sense. That's the thing that startles me about President Trump, is that he has this amazing common sense. He just cuts right through a lot of this. Well, anyway, Wednesday is a difficult time. We're going to have Wicked Wednesdays for a while now. And so be on guard. Expect things to get in your way. Politicians and judges and lawyers are going to beat up poor Uranus some more. And there's a little panic. It starts panicky Wednesday. It doesn't really settle out much until you get to dinner time. After dinner, the moon trines Saturn. And that things settle down. You say, okay, I got enough time. I got enough money. It'll be okay. And the moon slips into Taurus. About the same, just after that. And it settles. We're not so angry anymore, hopefully. When you get to Thursday, March 2nd, good communication in the middle of the day. Everybody's kind of happy with their new inspiration from the new moon. Yeah, that happened. That new moon gave you inspiration Sunday? Well, you're going to be thinking about that on Thursday night when the moon sextiles the sun and Neptune. Is Roundup really a good thing? There's so much shabai out here, folks. I saw people on public access saying, rainbow papayas are really good. It may be GMO, but we're not talking about the fruit. We're talking about all these GMO things that require Roundup. And Roundup gives you fatty liver disease and makes for miscarriages. It's got a lot of side effects, and it's all over. The chemical companies pulled another fasty on us. The drug war goes on. Yes, these pesticides are drugs. Same chemistry. I know a lot about this chemistry. I grew up with it. Friday morning on the 3rd of March, here's a trine to Pluto. There's discovery. You may learn something new that could straighten up a lot of this stuff. Feels good on Friday the 3rd. Moon still in Taurus. Saturday morning on the 4th, the moon moves into Gemini, starts to get a little dicey again. Issues of communication and transportation. Confusion. Liquids leaking on Saturday afternoon and evening. Mercury and Neptune, huh? You can get a little relaxation there if you stay home. Venus is there. There's some sweets and sexiness. And take advantage of it. Don't drink alcohol. Take drugs. Don't start preaching your religion, whether it be Monsanto or the Bible thumping, whatever it is. That stuff won't work. Smile, be with somebody you love Saturday night. Happens here after dinner, see the little blue mark. That's when the moon sextiles Venus. And Venus, you know, just stopped. So she's still active. Sunday morning, I guess you celebrated too much. The moon squares the sun. You're not going to get much done. Stay in bed. Middle of the day, here's a sextile to Uranus. I got new common sense things going on. And a trine to Jupiter. And there may be some innovative ideas here. Do we really need that pipeline and that really dirty, 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 dirty shale oil? I don't know. I don't think we do. But wait a minute. All those beautiful ideas await the Saturn opposition. The moon opposes Saturn late Sunday night. This is 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And the judge says, wait a minute, what about the laws? Let's go to court. Who cares what the people say? What's important is what the judge and the lawyers say, huh? That's one of the great lies. One of the great lies. But, you know, the elephant in the room is still there. A lot of people want to make money from shale oil, make money from fracking, dump all that methane, and which is worse than carbon dioxide. And the warming goes on, and the ice is melting off the poles, and you're having horrible weather. It's either much too hot or much too cold. What are we going to do about this? We're going to follow Mr. Trump into, terrible times in the next couple decades due to these global warming deniers. I say take their names. Okay, let's talk Neptune for a minute. What you see in the news is all about opioids. Opium was very widely used, and to great benefit for a lot of people in various different ways. Laudanum, you could buy, it's just an opium liquid you could buy in a store like you buy aspirin now. But what happened? Well, the war on drugs. How'd the war on drugs get there? The truth came out, but you won't see this in the media. Former President Richard Nixon, we used to spell his name with a swastika, officially declared a war on drugs. It was to go after two groups of people. Yeah, the anti-war people, yes, and the civil rights people. And he was horrified that they were going to get together. So what happened is, one of his top policy guys, John Ehrlichman, was on his deathbed, and he confessed. And he said, we made this up. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did, Ehrlichman said. Of course we did. That's 45 years ago. 45 years ago. Disturbing, isn't it? Disturbing. This resulted in millions of people getting arrested and locked up. Homes, families busted up. The money spent is horrendous. But it worked, didn't it? And now we're finally getting the marijuana thing straight. What's happening? Well, opioids. Even the synthetic ones the drug companies make and the doctors give out. If we can't stop the hippies with their anti-war stuff over pot, well, we still have opium. They used to smoke opium everywhere in the world. It's one of nature's best gifts to mankind. Morphine, opium. But they're going to pump it, and there's a whole bunch of people out there made a lot of money in the drug war, and they're not going to give up. They gotta find some way to keep their rice bowl going, and they will. And now it's all about they're still demonizing opium. Shame on you guys. So much wisdom in the ancient cultures. The Hawaiians especially lost 99% of their culture due to these religious fanatics. But, this one really got me. This man's looking at the swirlingness. It says, okay, some kahuna relied on the observation of the action of natural or artificial whirlpools to forecast approaching storms. We're going to have some storms this year. I watched the water swirl down the sink or in the toilet, and it does change. They believe that the water turned in one direction with the advent of a dirty weather and circled the opposite way when the weather was going to be fair. Amazing, huh? I had evidence the Mayans watched water do things. Of course, pets run away too, don't they? But, oh no, this is ancient stuff, Can this be science? These were hunter-gatherers. They don't recognize the Hawaiian genius. Nope. Or the genius of other ancient cultures. Too bad. They're really missing out. Speaking of ancients, one of my heroes, along with Sam Osmanogich and a couple of others, I always pass them on to you, is Graham Hancock. Spent his life looking at the ancient stuff. You know, the big megaliths, we call them, the big stone things. Well, he's written another book. The first book was Fingerprints of the Gods, and it's really worth going for. And he starts to bring you into what's going on with his stuff. But Magician of the Gods kind of finishes it. And what he found was that there was a period of time in our past, like 11, 12,000 years ago, when there was a sudden change in climate. Here it is. They get these from Greenland ice cores, very accurate climate data. And they were trekking along here 100,000 years in the Ice Age. Huge ice caps covered, you know, North America and Europe. And then something happened. They call this the Dryas. And all of a sudden, it warmed up a little bit and then crashed down and got really cold again. And it went on for 1,000 years. And then suddenly it recovered, and we're up here in a nice warm zone. What happened here? Turns out a comet hit the Earth, a really big comet. Graham Hancock is a good scientist. He found evidence all over the world that this comet hit. 4 or 5 big chunks in North America, a few in Europe. Hit the ice melted, and you've got Noah's flood. All the cultures talk about the great floods. Wiped out Atlantis and the old civilization. Wiped them out. Very high civilization, better science than we have now. Golden Age. That's where astrology comes from. Yeah. The second bunch of comets came in, well, same pieces of the same comet 1,000 years later, hit the water instead of the ice. And all the water went up in the air. We got global warming, and it kicked the temperature up like this. So here we are now. So, you know, this book is a good, easy read. Graham Hancock, Magician of the Gods. You can get this book on Amazon and stuff. I got mine slightly used for $10. And it shows up fast. If you're interested, we've had comets and fireballs and asteroids whizzing by planet Earth a lot in the last couple months. This is important stuff, folks. Ben Franklin devoted one whole issue to comets hitting the Earth. Yeah.